Hello everybody, my name is Burd, and welcome back. We're going to be continuing with our playthrough of 40K Boltgun. Couldn't tell you what level we are in Chapter 1, or Episode 1. But we're just going to continue with it. Kind of wish you could use the dash in the air. That'd be kind of fun. Oh, I guess that's wanting the game to be a little bit more like Doom Eternal. Can't get up there. Kind of looks like I could be up there, but I guess not. Route alternative, okay. Oh, looks like there was a secret or something up in there. Let me see if I can platform up into that. Oop. Oop. There we go. I need to use grenades more too. Kind of made that mistake in Doom 2016 and Eternal as well, where... Wait, did 2016 have grenades? I can't remember. I think it did. Of some sort. Ah, man, it's been a while since I've actually played through 2016. But, actually it was right before Eternal came out that I did my last playthrough of 2016. But, I didn't use the grenades as much as I should have in either one of those games. And as soon as I started using them, the game became infinitely easier. I'm gonna say 2016 had grenades. If nothing demonstrates the goalie of my skills, I was able to play through Doom 2016 and Eternal on Nightmare difficulty without any issue for the most part. Even on the Switch version, I managed to play through Doom 2016, which looked and ran horribly, but the fact that they were able, that panic button was able to get Doom running on a tablet with a chip in it from 2010 is amazing. Didn't get Eternal on the Switch though, because by the time Eternal came out, it was already 2020 and lockdowns had started at that point, so I was always at home anyway, so there was no point to buy it again for on-the-go play. And then the Steam Deck ended up coming out. Got a Steam Deck, so now I really have zero reason to ever purchase it. At this point, I probably play my Steam Deck more than my Switch. The only time I ever play my Switch now is whenever there's a big new release. Did start on Tears of the Kingdom, and you know, I don't know. There's certain aspects of Tears of the Kingdom I really enjoy, especially compared to Breath of the Wild. But I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm in the minority on this, especially. But everyone is praising it to no end, and like the building is fine for the most part. It's kind of tedious, really. Whenever I want to like build something really specifically, and I can't because I have to physically angle every single object in the world. And if there was some type of grid system like Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, I think it'd be a little bit better. I mean, being able to insta-build is nice. And another problem that I have with Tears of the Kingdom is the amount of content. It's a really odd thing to complain about, but like as I've gotten older, and I have less and less time to actually just sit down and play a video game. Find open world games really, really hard to truly enjoy, just because I have so much stop, go, and there are some times where I won't play video games for weeks at a time just because I get home from work and you gotta worry about regular responsibilities. But, and Tears of the Kingdom I have to just dedicate so much time to just play. kind of hard, especially whenever there's so much content. And for me, playing a Zelda game, and even the old ones too, is I always like to 100% them. And it's really, really hard to want to 100% Tears of the Kingdom. 100% in the sense of I'll do all the shrines and, you know, max out my hearts and my stamina, but I will not 100% the Korok seeds. They feel like the perfect example of the most pointless pickup ever. Also kind of really disappointed in the dungeons, in quotations, for Tears of the Kingdom. They kind of genuinely suck a lot. I mean, they're not as... Actually, you know... I think the beasts from Breath of the Wild were better designed. They were more designed like dungeons. I mean, visually they were very ugly and samey, but at least... the song and dance of puzzles were there a little bit more. Though I've only done 2. I've done the, I started on the, no, I finished the Rito Village one, and then I finished the Gerudo dungeon. And I was kind of really, really let down by both, especially the Rito dungeon. The Rito dungeon was, it was a pathetic experience, really, and really let down. Apparently the Goron and the Zora dungeons are a little bit better, but I don't know. Kind of worried that the open world aspect of the new games is gonna bleed into the series like DNA for the rest of its existence, which is gonna be a bit of a shame because I like smaller, more tight-knit designs, especially now that I'm older, like I said, and I feel like they have to dedicate so many resources to filling out all of this content, and in turn a lot of the puzzles and content that are in the game just aren't as appealing to me as dungeons in Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, or even the 2D entries even. Well, I was playing through Tears of the Kingdom, or at least the half of it I have played through so far. It's kind of just making me want to play Ocarina of Time again. Maybe I could do a playthrough of that. That would be pretty fun. I do have an original 64, though it has been acting up on me recently. I really need to break it down and clean it out fully. I do have a capture card, but I would need to get some type of HDMI converter for it. I think that'd probably be a fun little project to do the N64 HD mod whenever I clean it out. But or I could just emulate it, or I could use the Switch online version of it, because I know they've ironed out all the issues that it had on release. At first I wasn't subscribed to the Switch Online expansion pack, because it really did seem like a scam, spending so much more money for really poor Nintendo 64 emulation, and then just a handful of Sega Genesis games, and then some DLC for games I don't play. But then had a friend that joined our family plan, and he asked if we could get it, and he said that he'd help pay for it, so we ended up getting the family upgrade, and luckily that was after the fact, after the fact that they've updated them. So now the emulation's better for the 64. I mean, not much better, but it's notably better than it was at launch, for sure. And then now they've added Game Boy Advance games to it as well, which it felt kind of odd that they gated off the Game Boy Advance games to the Nintendo Switch online expansion. Seems like a really silly thing to do. No, but the Switch Online is notably better now than it was before, that's for sure. I managed to do a few playthroughs of Star Fox 64, and I did a playthrough of Mario 64, and just a 70-star run. I didn't go... Oh, no. Was it a... Yeah, it was a full 70-star run. And didn't notice any obvious glitches up front. Go. Yeah, but hope the next Zelda game is an open world. It probably will be. I was reading some interviews with Al Newman and such. It seems to be what everyone wants. I don't know. I just take smaller, more consistent, and more often releases too, over waiting another 6 years for just another big open world game. Just don't have the time or the energy or the will to dedicate myself to something like that for so long. And Half-Life and Boltgun have been a very, very, very refreshing break from Tears of the Kingdom, that's for sure. Open world RPGs have been pretty rough for me in general as of late. Before Tears of the Kingdom released, I did a playthrough of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, the Switch release. I played it on the Wii a long time ago. I had a hacked Wii, and I enjoyed it on there whenever I was younger, but going back to it now as an adult, it's the story's fun, but it takes forever, and on top of that, you're kind of forced to do side quests, or at least it felt like it, in order to level up. Because there were some points where I was just kind of making my way through the story, and then I would hit this massive level gate, and I looked it up, and people were just saying to do side quests, which kind of sucks because the side quests in Xenoblade are horrible. You go up, you talk to an NPC, you get this completely superfluous bit of information about that character that you're never going to interact with ever again, and then they go and ask you to do a fetch quest to go and kill so many of this enemy, and it does nothing to further the narrative, and it's just mediocre, and the writing isn't anything to get excited about or something you'd want to actively spend your time on. And I'd like to play through Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I skipped over 2. Just I don't know, I just didn't like the designs, and I don't really like anime that much, for lack of a better term, and between Xenoblade 1 and 3, between 1, 2, and 3, Xenoblade 2 seems very anime, for lack of a better term. Just not a big fan of the weird aspects of it, you know. And the odd, out-of-place sexualization. I don't inherently mind sexualization in video games, at all. The Bayonetta series is one of my favorite series to play. And that's, basically the whole point of those games outside of the combat. But, I don't know. But, yeah, that's why I'm kind of worried about starting on Xenoblade 3 or going out and buying it, just because I have a feeling it's going to be more of the same thing, where you're going to have this great, solid story narrative, and then if you want to actually continue in it, you're going to have to devote 40 hours of your life to doing crappy side quests, just so that way you can effectively do the story, or else you're just going to have to go and grind and do enemies and make combat mindless and boring. To be completely honest, I have no clue where I'm going, but having fun. Okay, little laurel crown, fun. Can I get back up here? No, I cannot. So the real question is, where am I going? Probably just been missing a pretty clear path. Just not probably paying enough attention. Because I've been babbling on. A lot more than I usually do. I'm feeling a bit more talkative today. Could be because I've had a little bit of caffeine in my system. Okay, yeah, I don't think this is the way I'm supposed to be going, but it is nice that that this whole area up here is textured and has collision and such that I can be up here. Completely pointless, but fun. Well, I'll shoot. Where do I go? Okay, yeah, I picked up the key. And I just realized that, so I guess I gotta look for the door for this key. So I probably should be heading back. Maybe? Question mark? Maybe? I don't want to trek too far back and then realize that that wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. Oh, no. That's why I really do wish there was a map in this game. That'd be very nice. In my early playthroughs of Doom 1993, that was something that I had to use a lot, just because a lot of the maps are kind of built like a maze, especially in the later chapters. Remember, I had actually tried playing Marathon 2. It was one of Bungie's earlier games. And I remember the maze design was kind of like the one thing that gated me from continuing the game. I played through the first few levels, and I was like, wow, this is kind of fun. Also, this kind of sucks to navigate through, so I'll come back to this in the future. I'll probably eventually do a playthrough of Marathon. Maybe the full series. I did see that they're making that Bungie's making a new one. Like, I don't know, I'm sure it's just using the branding. All of the original Bungie developers and founders and creators, they probably all left the company now. Right now, it's only Bungie in name, not in soul and spirit. So whether or not the new Marathon is going to be a solid continuation of the originals is left to be seen. Read somewhere that's going to be an extraction shooter, so is it going to be multiplayer or something? I don't know if I just misread something, if that's truly the case or not. Okay, where the heck do I gotta go? Just don't want this whole episode to be me running in circles. But might just end up being that. Let me really backtrack a bit. And while we do look around, I suppose I could chatter more about it being not E3 season. E3 season / not E3 season, since E3 isn't a thing this year. Some of the reveals and such. Saw that 40K Space Marine 2 is going to be co-op. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to do a solo playthrough first, and I may do one with my friends. That'd be pretty fun to record. Though, I'm sure, or maybe not sure if you picked up on it or not through watching, I don't tend to cuss very much. And I'm not sure if I want to bring that onto my channel. I don't mind playing games with, you know, cursing or anything like that. And I don't mind being exposed to it, like, one bit. But, I don't know if I want to directly bring that into my content. And, I know my friends are pretty loose-tongued when it comes to that sort of thing. Where the heck am I going? So we'll see. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'll mark those videos separately. But yeah, there's that. I'm pretty sure Capcom has a showcase on the 12th, which is Monday, I think. Looking forward to seeing more about Dragon's Dogma 2. Absolutely adore Dragon's Dogma 1. Alright, tell you what, this is taking me way too long. I'm going to look up where it is real quick. Alright, tell you what, I feel like an absolute idiot for missing this. Okay. was I talking about before I shamefully looked up the correct path? Oh yeah, Capcom's E3 showcase, or Summer Showcase, or whatever the heck they're calling it. Yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2. Looking forward to that a great deal. Absolutely adore Dragon's Dogma 1. And then something about Exoprimal. I'm kind of mixed on it. I like the PvE elements. It does look fun in that aspect, but also it's simultaneously PvP. And like it randomizes the PvP events that are at the end, because there's some events where you have to just straight up fight the other team, or there's some events where you have to battle against a monster at the same time as the other team, and the other team, and whatever team with the most points wins. Yeah, it's right down here is where I gotta go. There we go. Awesome. Then Microsoft Showcase is also next week. Not really expecting a whole lot from Microsoft. I don't know. They've been kind of up and down as of late. Mostly down, unfortunately. They haven't really released anything that I've found incredibly interesting. I did play Hi-Fi Rush for a little bit, and I had fun for a while, but I don't know, it felt like the biggest draw of the game was the combat, and there just genuinely was never enough combat in that game for it to actually be fleshed out and fun. It was never truly difficult either. I had to turn up the, I can't remember if there was like difficulty options. I recall turning up the difficulty in it. I may be mistaken though. But and I enjoyed Halo Infinite's campaign a bit. Didn't really enjoy the multiplayer that much. Though Halo multiplayer's never been anything I've really enjoyed. I've always preferred Halo to the campaign. I mean, I can always count on Microsoft to not mess up Forza. Forza's always pretty solid. That obelisk there. I don't know if I trust Playground Games making the next Fable. It seems like a really odd choice. I mean, Lionhead is no more, and even though Peter Molyneux is a lying little weasel with a lot of his stuff, I think he probably played a really big part in what made Fable 1 and 2 to a lesser extent enjoyable. I only did one playthrough of Fable 3 when I was younger, and I probably never want to return to it ever again. And a little bit tentative on Starfield, just because it's a mainline Bethesda dev game, and every subsequent release from Oblivion has been less and less enjoyable in some ways to me. Like, Skyrim is fine. It feels horribly watered down and casualized, but I mean, it's still fun to do a playthrough every now and then. It's not anything I'm gonna ever run back to. Fallout 4 I was woefully let down by, and solely truly propped up by mods, and I guess I could also say the same thing about Skyrim. But Fallout 76 I played for a little bit, but then I realized that it's only fun with friends, and saying something is fun with friends is always kind of an easy cop-out for a game, because, I mean, I could go kick rocks with friends and have the greatest time of my life. So doing something mediocre with your friends isn't anything, and considering something better just because it is fun with friends isn't really a good thing, you know? It's a case of, if I don't enjoy it by myself, why should I only enjoy it through playing with friends, when I could just play something that me and my friends actually do both we enjoy as well on our own, as well as with friends, and then just a better experience overall. Because not only are we playing a game we enjoy, but we're also enjoying each other's company and just hanging out. But yeah, Starfield's probably going to be a horrible glitchy mess at launch, and I'm not sure if it's just me or something, but the art style, or I guess the lack of an art style, it looks really bland. Like, I've only seen a little bit here and there, and the little bit that they've shown off. The shipbuilding system looks great. That's probably going to be the one thing that I'm going to like, assuming that there's a lot of freedom with it. But, like, the NPC interactions look really stilted and soulless. And, I mean, any of the writing they've showed off so far isn't anything crazy. Like, I can withstand stilted animations and relatively soulless-looking player models as long as the writing is there and is really solid. I guess the character models, not player models. Guess we got Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty coming out here pretty soon. Something about it being leaked and that's gonna cost like $30 or something, which is really, really rough for a DLC. I mean, it better be pretty substantial. It better add a whole new area. I mean, I'm sure it's going to add a whole new area, but the whole new area better be really solid, because that's kind of expensive for just a DLC, especially for a game that's pretty okay. I mean, it's been the gameplay's been ironed out slightly, but nothing crazy, and not as glitchy as it was at launch. Unfortunately, I fell into the trap of being excited for it because I really enjoyed The Witcher 1, 2, and 3, and I was thinking, oh, CD Projekt making a Cyberpunk game? That sounds great. How can they mess this up? And we're not given enough development time, and we're working with all new technology, and was woefully overhyped by the marketing and executives. Oh, there it is. Woo! There we go. Alright, that took much longer than I would have liked. Sorry about that. For anyone out there watching, thank you though. I do appreciate your time. Hope you'll join me for the next one. If you want to see more of this, go ahead and subscribe. If you liked it, like it. If you didn't, then dislike it. I will see you next time, and you have yourself a great day. Adios.